Thank you. Hello everybody. It looks like that we have not been able to beat the people who were watching the baseball game, although I've understood that they're already 1-0 behind. And I got the tip, but the tip obviously came too late. Mark, you have to tell me that earlier, that we should have told before the break that we would be serving alcohol drinks during this session. But unfortunately, we can't do that anymore. Well, before we went into the break, we already had quite some interesting presentations with regards to talks about American language to be translated into English language and vice versa. And then shortly before the break, we had the multi-language platform discussions. Well, this half an hour will at least be that interesting because you have to cope with at least 2 Dutch people trying to make themselves understandable in the English language. So please bear with us. Last but not least, it might be, and I would like to use the opportunity that still quite some people are asking themselves the question, UPM, what kind of magazines UPM publishes, because this is obviously a forum and a conference of publishers. Well, UPM doesn't publish any magazines, but at least I would like to use the opportunity to inform you about the fact that until 10 years ago, UPM was the very traditional forest company producing a lot of paper. And like we have heard during the last FIPP conferences, and like we have also heard today and will hear tomorrow, you have been going through quite some transformation in your companies. The same has been happening with our company, and we are actually very proud being able to say that we have transformed our company from a traditional forest company where we were 10 years ago to what we call today a Bio4 company with multiple business areas, not only concentrating on paper production, which by the way is still the biggest part of our company, but also being very big in bioenergy, in pulp, in self-adhesive materials, etc., etc. So in that respect, also we, having prepared ourselves for the changes in the graphic paper industry and the changes in the media world. With that having said, I'm of course very thrilled that I was invited to lead this panel discussion, because this panel discussion is going to be very much about paper. And as said, we are still producing 10 million tons of graphic paper within our company. So if one of you still needs some paper afterwards, you can find our desk. We still have plenty to sell to you. But without delay, I would like to introduce my panel colleagues. And first of all, a lady that made the same long trip as myself, coming from the Netherlands, Joyce Nieuwenhuijs. Please, Joyce. Joyce is the brand director of Sanoma's Flow magazine. And then secondly, Dan Wakeford. Dan. The deputy editor of People magazine, and last but not least, editor-in-chief from Rodale's Organic Life, James Oseland. Welcome. Okay, I will ask my panel colleagues to give a short presentation and information about themselves and the magazines and companies they are representing. So, Joyce, would you kick off, please?
Thank you, Ruud. My name is Joyce Nieuwenhuijs. I'm the brand director. I think he doesn't work. Yes.
There it goes.
For sure. A warm welcome from Flow magazine. I'm Joyce Nieuwenhuijs. I'm the brand publishing director from Sanoma. I'm responsible for 2 weeklies and for Flow magazine. And 7 years ago, we started with Flow together with the creative directors, Astrid and Irene, and a small team of entrepreneurs. We started Flow magazine. And into a short time, we expanded as a strong and beautiful brand. And Flow is not like any other magazines. Flow fits in the zeitgeist. And Flow is full of surprises. And naturally, we have always had, but we will always have a big ambition to grow. And, but we don't do that like with big budgets and mega huge print runs. We started small, and I think it's good to start small, but think big and start small. So We started 7 years ago, and if you can imagine, it was 2008. We get a go from our board of directors, Henk Schinstra, he's all there. And we get a go for the launch, and in September, the economic crisis began. So we had a launch in November. You can imagine that it will be a tough time. But I think the crisis became, for us, only better. It can grow the brand. I like to first show you a small, short clip to give you an overview what flow is, but most of all, what the essence of flow and the feeling of flow is. So let's show.
What is Flow? Flow is a magazine that takes its time. Flow was founded in an attic just outside Amsterdam in 2008. We, Astrid and Irene, the founders of the magazine, thought it was time to make a magazine that was about real lives and real people. A magazine that did not follow the trends, but was about our own lives and zeitgeist, featuring topics like perfectionism, vulnerability, mindfulness, and positive psychology. Flow is a magazine for paper lovers. Each issue is printed on lots of different kinds of paper and contains various paper goodies like notebooks, calendars, posters, stickers, gift bags, and much more. Flow celebrates creativity, imperfection, and life's little pleasures. And we love illustrations. That's why we work with illustrators from all over the world. Flow is more than a magazine. We produce magazines, special editions, stationery, diaries, calendars, and international digital apps for smartphones and tablets. We work with a small team in the Netherlands, but Flow is conquering the world. We have expanded into an international brand with editions in English, Dutch, German, and French, as well as a book in Japanese. Flow is available in 20 countries. Our website, flowmagazine.com, is an interactive online community worldwide. It contains a pin-style dashboard of images we like, people we admire, DIY projects we want to try, and all kinds of other things to explore. And we are very active in sharing our thoughts and ideas on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Creativity takes courage. That's what the French painter Henri Matisse once said. We'd like to add to what he said. The best things in life happen when you dare to follow your intuition. And that's what we still do today. We follow our intuition. More information about Flow? Take a look at our website, www.flowmagazine.com.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you.
Great.
Flow is growing steadily, but learning by doing, and despite a drop in the single issue market and declining ad revenues. And we do this by staying creative and as entrepreneurs, and also maximize the opportunities to build the brand. And of course, operating with courage nowadays. So now we have, in 7 years of entrepreneurship, 39 products, published in 4 languages and distributed in more than 20 countries. Everyone was saying print is dead, there is no future for print. But we still believed in print. And I think there is a great potential for the concept Flow especially. But not only in print, also for the digital. Because I think that digital must not be the goal, but the consumer needs, that are the goal. So that's
Great.
my introduction.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Showing in, yes, please. Telling in 3 minutes how a success story works, and I didn't even have to bribe you to say so many nice words about paper, so thank you very much for that. Dan, could you please continue and tell a little bit more about the People magazine, and mind you, People magazine, the magazine which is read, I've understood, by every 5th American in the country.
Yeah, 1 in 5 consumers, that's right. And we have 42 million readers, and we at People magazine aim to, we aim to entertain, empower, and inspire our readers with storytelling and service. We celebrate extraordinary people doing ordinary things and ordinary people doing extraordinary things. This mix comes together to create one of the most compelling magazines in the world. I work across all the platforms for people, but the majority of our revenue is actually from print. And we're the #1 in the gross newsstand revenue in America. We have an average weekly circulation of 3.5 million, and we, as Ruud said, we reach 1 in 5 consumers in America. And despite tough market conditions, which we all have, we've been succeeding and thriving. Our paid subscriptions this year have been up 6.5%. Our market share on the newsstand has grown 3% in the last 3 years. And this year we've had a record-breaking 6 issues break the 40% share mark. So we're very happy about that. We've also got successful licensing businesses which have started in the last few years with 3 international licenses, including People Germany, which was launched this year. And you can see some of the ways we've achieved this success. As an editor, it was hard to edit down and choose which of our amazing issues to showcase here. Starting off here, or I'll just talk through them. We've got George Clooney, who's shown off his beautiful wedding photos. We've got the agenda-setting cover with Brittany Maynard, her exclusive cover story, arguing for her right to die, and the accompanying video hit 16 million unique views. Melissa McCarthy, America's favorite comedian, has come to us to tell her story twice in the last year with the untold love story between Taya Kyle and Chris Kyle from American Sniper, which was sold extremely well on the newsstand. With the amazing, compelling, if a little scary story of Rosemary Kennedy, who was a hidden Kennedy who was lobotomized. And I think that just shows the variety of our content. One week we can have a celebrity cover, the next week we'll have an extremely compelling human interest cover. We've had the inside story of the Duggar family over the last few years, and so when the scandal hit, we obviously had the inside story of that. We're the authority on celebrity breakups, so when Ben and Jen broke up, they came to People to announce that, and we had every detail there. Our tentpole issues are still hugely successful. Sandra Bullock this year posed for us for the World's Most Beautiful and accepted that honour. And when People magazine announced the beginning of Caitlyn Jenner's transition, as Joe mentioned this morning, finally the world knew that it was true.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. Sounds great. And last but not least, and we already had this morning quite an extensive presentation from your president about the company, and it goes without saying that obviously your company, you already have a friend for life when your president said that we believe in print. Thank you very much for that. But please, James, could you tell us a little bit more about the Organic Life?
I absolutely could. There we go. Ooh, I'm going to go back. Hi, everybody. Last check, it's 2015. It's not the most opportune time to launch a print magazine, but we did. And we held our breath, and we knew in our heart of hearts at Rodale that this was the right thing to do right now. I don't know how many of you heard our President Scott's presentation earlier this morning, but Rodale, I'm sorry. Rodale is a company that traces its roots back to the 1930s. The grandfather of the current CEO, Maria Rodale, was the man who coined the term organic farming and organic gardening. So it's really truly at the DNA of the company, the idea of organic. Yet, no mainstream magazine has existed in 2015 in North America that covered something so very important to so many millions of North Americans. We think of ourselves as a magazine that is really a handbook, a guide to living naturally in the modern world, a brand for many of us, truly millions of us, who strive to live well, consume responsibly, and embrace everyday life with both mindfulness and gusto. We are first and foremost a print magazine. As I've said, we're very new. In fact, at this point, we're 4 months old, exactly 4 months old. We are 350,000 strong as a print magazine, But again, it's 2015. We are much more than a print magazine. We are a multi-platform brand, and we've started ourselves out as such. We are a fabulous website that is 1.5 million uniques per month. And we have very robust social presence as well, over 1 million Facebook likes. And we're even on our first year, entering the event space. We're doing our premiere event, which Scott mentioned earlier this morning, in Brooklyn, just in a little place outside of New York City that you may have heard of, a food event called the Farm to Fork event, an event that brings to life our soul, our energy in the event sense. But a thing that's very near and dear to me, of course, is print. And only in print could we create something as diverse, as intricate as this feature. This was in our launch issue back in June. It's a feature about walking, one of the most essential and truly organic acts of all of us. And it's a fantastic mashup of storytelling and service with fun and engaging charts, graphics, quotes, and photographs all in one place. Additionally, this reminds me of what you all are doing. Because we're a print entity, we try and have fun with it, and our magazine is printed on different kinds of paper stock, including the almanac section, which is a back of books section full of all sorts of servicey, fun, lagniappe kinds of things. It's my idea that for many, many decades, the idea of organic has been, for a lot of us collectively, we think of it as, raw kale salad and juice fasts and these kind of essentially inherently unfun things. It's our idea at Organic Life. The time has come to bring pleasure into the dialogue and invite more people to the table. And hopefully that's what we will be doing for a very long time to come. But already we're off to a very fabulous and exciting start.
Okay, well, it looks like you're successful, James. Thank you very much. Okay, now still having some time for question. I mean, already this morning I was being told that we have to be very strict on the time, so now and then I even would have had to be harsh with my panel colleagues if they would overrun the time with regards to the presentation, but listening to people who are so committed to their product, I think it's impossible to do so. Question to all three of you. It's quite clear that your brands, you have all invested in print as your overall strategy, and we have been learning and we are continuously learning, and I think that everybody is very well aware about the fact that digitalization will continue. Will it level out? Won't it level out? Where does it end? Where will it stay? If people are talking about, and there are some doom thinkers that are talking about the end of print, how do you see, what is your strength of print, and where do you actually see print in the coming 5 years? Joyce, may I start with you?
I think first they are wrong, because I think paper, we are digital transformation, and I think what I told in my presentation, everybody thought that print was dead and everybody was focusing on digital transformation. But if you see that we need more print, because print is, before it was a commodity to print, but I think it's more and more shifting to a luxury product. And I think people need sometimes, everybody is now on their mobile, digital, and paper helps you to get out of your hectic life, and it gives you a sort of paper. I think, and as I speak for our concept, it's relaxing instead of digital.
Okay,
so
thank
no, for yet.
Great, thank you. Dan?
I still think magazines are the best medium to bring stories to life with words and pictures and achieve real quality. The user owns the personal experience of losing themselves in a magazine more than on a device. I mean, a People magazine story provides the best storytelling and craft that you can't get on the internet, with accurate reporting, amazing writing, especially curated photography and great design, and that all comes together and is alive in print, and you can't get that digitally. And as I was mentioning, the ad revenue being substantial earlier, but the power of print is still substantial. If you were in our weekly cover meetings deciding who's going on the cover, you'll see that there's celebrities and politicians alike clambering to be on the cover of People because they realise that it's the best way to convey a message to the American people. Some celebrities try and tell their stories through social media and their own channels, but nobody tells a story like People magazine. And whether it's Hillary Clinton trying to show us a softer side to the magazine, or it's Canada's own Avril Lavigne raising awareness for Lyme's disease, or Jackie Collins ringing People magazine 2 weeks before she died to say goodbye to her readers, they all realise that nothing telegraphs a message like the print edition of People.
Okay, thank you. James,
well,
your view?
Of course I'm biased, and I'm an avid, personally, consumer of digital information, but there's something about print, the object, and the relationship that I have, that we have, to the print object that we hold in our hands and we flip through, we touch, we put it on our nightstands, we put it on the edge of our bathtub. It's an intimate relationship that develops over time. It's a close personal relationship that if I observe my own behavior, my own consumption of media, when I'm looking on my phone, when I'm looking on my laptop, when I'm looking on my desktop, it's an entirely different relationship than I have to the magazine that I hold in my hands. And for us specifically at Organic Life, I like to think, you know, going back to the very, very, very early days of the conceptualization of this brand, the idea of creating our magazine as the magazine version of slow food, if you will. A moment for our readers and for our audience to slow down, to reduce the noise, and to just focus laser-like, very mindfully on this one thing, this print magazine that they hold in their hands. For us, the creators of Organic Life, and really the larger company, Rodale, this is a very magical and essential thing.
Great, thank you, thank you. Specific question to you, Joyce. Already this morning we also saw that and heard that the design and creative magazines are becoming more and more popular, and also one of the discussions we have been hearing now for the last couple of years already with regards to getting your content paid, whether it's on digital or whether it's on paper. It looks like that these kind of design magazines are not the cheapest magazine, but still they are becoming more and more popular, and more people are buying them. What is the secret behind that, and which role does that play in your strategy? Is there more development to come in the future?
Yes, I was really glad that Astrid and Irene had the idea when 7 years ago they worked with Marie Claire, the glossies, and they saw a trend that there is something changing and that people want to do, and the hectic life helping, and creative, handmade, help you more relax, be mindful. So we see, and I think all the publishers can see now in the shops that there is coloring book for adults. I think it's best selling, and we also, every year we had a book for paper lovers. It's 300 pages and no text in it, and it's our best selling products. It's for $20. And we sell 100,000 copies now. So the handcrafting, to be mindful, you see, I think it's a reaction about what's going on in the world. And I'm glad that Astrid and Irene adopted.
Great, great. Yeah, well, I've heard one somebody say that these kind of magazines, they will become the fashion magazines in the future, and everybody needs to have them on the coffee table, and it's more trendy to have that kind of magazines on your coffee table rather than that you have a tablet on your coffee table.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're reaching 1 of 5 consumers in the US. What's the big secret?
I think the secret is starting with your mission statement and making sure you're delivering that on every page. We strive to make the magazine more and more engaging, over time, and that's what's helped us reduce the decline on the newsstand sales. And I think our readers trust us, and it's no secret that once we hit the newsstand, all of the websites pick up our stories and aggregate them, and we do that ourselves online. But the issue is people come back to People magazine to get the full, deeper story, the full experience. That you're only getting a synopsis of the stories online, and you're getting the full, detailed, great story craft in People magazine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. James, your magazine targeting the healthy lifestyle of people. How actively do your readers ask or look for the sustainable media channels?
You know, we're discovering that day to day because we're so new. But it's my idea that, you know, I was referencing this when I was talking just a few minutes back, going through slides, but it's my idea that there are just untapped millions in America, in Canada, and beyond, in Western Europe, in Asia, in Latin America, folks who are looking to make better choices. At Organic Life, we are interested in not organic in the sense of capital O organic, a rigid set of governmental laws and, you know, rules that we must follow rigidly if we're to be organic. Instead, we're looking at the idea of expanding the dialogue, casting the net further, creating an environment that's more inclusive and that invites everyone to the table. Even if you have a refrigerator full of junk food and you like McDonald's, that's okay. If you're somewhere in your heart attracted to magnetically the idea of making better choices, either for yourself or for your family or for your community or for the environment at large, for us, you're an audience member. Everyone's welcome to our table.
Great, thank you. Well, looking at the audience, at least I'm very proud that it looks like that, although we are all the time talking about paper and how print works, it looks like that Twitter and what have you works as well, because it seems that we have been beating the baseball game of the OJs, and still we are not serving any alcohol beverages,
Yes.
but meanwhile almost everybody is there. So it looks like that they have been twittering, you have to come to this presentation, it is so extremely interesting.
right.
So thank you very much for that. We still got 3 minutes to go, and would there be some questions from the audience? Do I see? Yes, over there.
That box is so weird. If you see the box.
Whoa!
There was a good pitch, but a poor catch, I understand.
What is
Poor catch.
that box? Where did that thing come from?
Yeah, first of all, thank the wonderful panelists for you know, giving the confidence back to print, because I'm a great believer of print, and I think most of us are. The thing is, how do you innovate in a way to get print to work for you? I think that's really the answer that we're all striving to look for, and I think I hear a lot of answers here. But my question here is for Ruud, right? So it's strange, but I have to ask you this question, and many of my colleagues here will actually be looking daggers at me when I ask you this question. In the last 25 years, I have been in the field, I have been running the company for 25 years, and I have seen that newsprint prices have barely moved by 15 to 20% over the last 25 years, whereas obviously cover prices have moved substantially higher. And you know, somewhere consumers have been willing to pay more, but my worry is this, is it sustainable for the paper industry to continue servicing us publishers? And is there something that we need to be worried about? Because that is the one thing which truly worries some of us, that what if, you know, paper runs out? Or am I asking a completely foolish question?
No, you're definitely not asking a completely foolish question, because unfortunately, in that respect, I can inform you about the fact that globally, the paper industry over the last 6 years have had to close down close to 30% of their capacity, and then we are talking about close to 25 million metric tons of paper. So that has been a massive reduction of paper production in the last couple of years, and also a massive having to make redundant of a lot of people in that industry. Nevertheless, as I already said in my introduction, UPM, as one of the paper companies, understood well in time that we had to transform ourselves in order to have more feet to stand on only than paper. But we still believe very strongly in paper, and paper to be a sustainable medium, like it has also been fortunately confirmed by the panelists into the future. So there is no doubt about that. And it's of course not only UPM. I mean, there are still a lot of competitors. Fortunately, there are still a lot of competitors who are having the same opinion. Having said so, it is clear that paper industry is going through very rough times. As said, closures are costing a hell of a lot of money, and we unfortunately are not sustainable, profitable. But I think that actually our CEO has mentioned and said a couple of days ago that we have to change our slogan with regards to paper can be good business again, paper will be good business again. So also we have strong belief that paper will continue to exist. So you don't have to be worried about your paper supplies. I can secure you that.
Do you mind if I say one thing?
If we still got time, can James still say a closing word on that?
Your question reminds me, you know, as we were developing Organic Life, we thought, oh my goodness, we're a magazine called Organic Life, yet we're printed on paper. Is that like okay? Is that a sustainable thing to do? And so we actively sought paper stock that was raised in, that came from trees that were raised in sustainable forests. The paper itself was in fact sustainable and or recycled or both, and it became a very easy decision for us. I mean, the kinds of paper stocks that exist now versus 30 years ago, 50 years ago, it's extraordinary. And I think that's a very interesting part of the story too.
Great. Thank you very much. And with these words, please join me in thanking the panelists for this great discussion, and thank you for your attention.
Very brief.
Thank you very much.